we're really excited to be opening up a Muslim boys secondary school and a Muslim girls secondary school, inshallah, for September 2024. It will be the first Muslim school in Redbridge for boys, and the first Muslim school for girls as well in the borough of Redbridge. My name is Mehrun Hamid. I'm the head teacher of Apex Primary School and inshallah also Apex Secondary School, which will be starting inshallah in September 2024. We are based in Ilford in Redbridge, the borough of Redbridge, alhamdulillah. Both our schools are very close together. The school is it's an Islamic school. Our ethos is very much in line with Islam. And I would say at the moment, all our children are Muslims. The children are predominantly from the Southeast Asian subcontinent. So we've got Bangladeshi children, Pakistani children, Indian children. And of course, there are also other nationalities as well. But predominantly, that demographic, alhamdulillah. It's from nursery all the way to year 6 for the primary. And then in the secondary, inshallah, we're hoping to start at year 7, 8 and 9. That will be separate. So we've got a boys' school and a girls' school. They will be separate schools, 2 different entities. It will be in the same building. We're quite fortunate. The building is quite large enough to be able to equip a floor for the boys and also a floor for the girls as well, alhamdulillah. The primary site is mixed, alhamdulillah, but once they get to secondary school, we are planning to. And that's predominantly because I guess it's quite an exciting time because we will be the first Muslim girls' school in Redbridge and the first Muslim boys' school in Redbridge. And Redbridge is a borough that has quite a large Muslim population. But we don't just serve the Redbridge borough. We've got children who attend from Newham, from Tower Hamlets, Barking and Dagenham, a little bit further in terms of Essex as well. So all the neighbouring boroughs we're also serving, alhamdulillah. It is an independent school, so it is fee-based. The nursery and reception, we do receive nursery and early years funding for, but the remainder is fee-based. I would say that our fees are quite reasonable for an independent school, and it isn't about making a profit, it's about any money that comes in. It's a charity, not-for-profit organisation, so any money that comes into the school, it goes back to the school in terms of, provisions and resources for the children. Our fees start from 4,300. So in the primary, it's 4,300 per annum, alhamdulillah. And for the secondary, we're inshallah starting at 4,700. Nursery reception, because we get early years funding, alhamdulillah, so the 3-4-year-old funding, whilst they're at that age, it's free. So you've got the 15 hours or the 30 hours. So we do have that. But once they start sort of reception from year 1 up until, going up further, then that's when the fees apply. Our school hours at the moment are from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So it is slightly earlier. For the primary school, alhamdulillah, we have also a Hifz club that starts at 7:30. Some of our children do get dropped off for the Hifz club. We will be having a Hifz club for the secondary as well. So yes, there is, we do have that early start, but we tend to start earlier than other schools just so that, parents can avoid drop them off early and avoid the rush hour. Alhamdulillah. Being an Islamic school, we've got, in the early years, we've got the early years curriculum, EYFS, that, we follow. But embedded into that, we also bring in Islamic links, starting Islamic etiquettes as well and manners. So, for example, starting the day with du'as, things that they need to say before they start eating, going to the toilet, that sort of thing. That continues on throughout the school. But we also follow the national curriculum as well. Okay. So quite a lot of the subjects are, from the national curriculum in terms of English, maths, science, humanities subjects. And then we also, as part of our core curriculum, we also have something we call Tazkiyah in the primary school. And
what is Tazkiyah?
So Tazkiyah is Islamic studies and Quran in Arabic. Okay. So that's part of our core curriculum, alhamdulillah. But it isn't just that makes it an Islamic school. It's just the whole, school day in terms of the routines, in terms of the manners, in terms of, and also, of course, as a school, we also have the children do salah as well in congregation. So, yeah, it's the full nurturing of the child. And our aim is really to tarbiyah, which really needs to start at home. We all know as parents, we never outsource the education of our children. So schools really should be there to supplement that education. And that's how we see ourselves. Our role is to try and supplement what's going on, at home, inshallah. So that we're working in partnership with the parents. Some parents where one parent might be Muslim, the other parent may not be. And alhamdulillah, for us, it's about taking the child on. So long as the parents are willing to work with us, and then we're open to that. So we find that sometimes when children come to the school and they take away the learning and they share it at home, it actually encourages the parents as well. To sometimes change themselves, but also be interested and invested in the school. And so, we have other things that we plan throughout the year where we want our parents to get involved. So currently today, for example, we've got an Apex Iftar, and that's open to all our parents to come along. And, it's nice for the children to see that their parents are very much invested in the school as well, and they care about the school because they care about their education as well. So we've got that going on. We have an annual adventure day that we plan. We hire out sort of a local sort of campsite, a scout camping site. Again, that's open to the whole community, and that's quite popular, alhamdulillah. And that's all about family and that tarbiyah continuing on. And the other thing that we do annually, we have a residential trip. We see ourselves that in a sense as, when a child is coming into Apex, they are getting an education that's not just about the academics. It is about nurturing the whole child. And tarbiyah isn't just about English, maths, and science. It's also about learning about life skills and about our etiquettes and manners and all of those things. And those things don't necessarily just develop because you sit down and you do maths and English. They come from other things. And so when we have the residential trip, it's about taking the child out, trying to help them to become a little bit more independent. We do a lot of outdoor activities there. That's open to years 4, 5, and 6 every single year, alhamdulillah. And we try to encourage all of our children to participate in that. Inshallah, for the secondary school, we plan to also continue that on and possibly go further afield with that because the children will be slightly older. Our children, when they leave primary school, yes, they are in an Islamic environment. Alhamdulillah, we try to nurture that. But for us, it's not about creating a bubble. Because that's very important that they're not just, used to being exposed to just other Muslims, because society isn't like that. So, we have a lot of things like, for example, PE. We have, for PE, we take our children to, ice skating. We take our children to sailing. We've done swimming before as well. So we want them to have all of those experiences. We've also participated in many inter-school events. Some of those events, in all honesty, are not with other Muslim schools. They're also with mainstream schools. So a lot of sports events that we participate in every year are Redbridge run. So other Redbridge schools. So it's really important for our children, for us, that our children are exposed to, other communities, other children, other religions, because we don't want to create that bubble effect. What I think parents ultimately want, though, when they're here, is that feeling of safety, that the education or whatever they're exposed to with certain curriculum subjects is safe. The curriculums have changed quite a bit, and I think a lot of parents are a little bit worried about what their children are going to be exposed to in mainstream. And I think for some parents, it's not that they don't want to expose their children to that. I think it's more about exposing them at age appropriate. About certain subjects. It should be about age appropriate, and that's how we see it as well. So as a school, we talk about a lot of things with our children. We're not shy about these things. And it's important that we do that, because in doing that, we are actually preparing our children to integrate into society. They are going to be exposed to it at the end of the day anyway. Yeah. But what we do is, the way we do it is in a safe way. And it's in an age-appropriate way. So, you know, a 5-year-old, it might not be appropriate for them to know about certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not quite ready in terms of, you know, their growth and their self-development. In our school, we've always had, ever since I've been here, and I've been here for a long time. I joined Apex in 2009. So ever since I can remember, we've always had what is now referred to as a RSE curriculum, so relationship and sex education. We've always had that in the school, but we've always done it age appropriate. So what we say is that by the time our children leave primary school, yes, they will be exposed to, and we will discuss these things, and we've always done that. So at the moment, what we tend to do is, you're right, that, you know, the younger ages are now learning so many things, and they're exposed to it. You know, you've got social media out there, and so we're very much aware of that. So again, I would say it's age appropriate. If we feel that a 5-year-old, it's age appropriate to know that, then fine, that's what we will embed into the curriculum. And the curriculum is in such a way that it's a working document. Things change, and they change cohort to cohort as well. So, for example, something that we might have thought is more appropriate to year 6 at one time now might actually be, well, you know what, we need to talk about it in year 4, or it might be in year 5. So from cohort to cohort, we found that that changes. So one year you might have quite a mature bunch of children, you know, in year 6. But the next year it might be actually the year 5s are mature enough, and we need to talk about it then. So children grow and they change, and for us it's important that we're constantly observing that and monitoring that, and supporting them when we feel that, I think they're ready for it. But what you don't want to do is expose children too early, because I think that can also be quite traumatic for children. I experienced it myself with my older son when he went to mainstream school. He was in, he was in year 6 equivalent at that time. And he was exposed to things that I didn't feel was appropriate at that time. I had strictly told the school not to. And I don't know, something happened in the school at that day. The teacher wasn't in or something like that. And unfortunately he came back home, and honestly, I think he was really traumatized, and he just gave me a good telling off. Like, you told me I wasn't going to, and I couldn't understand what he was talking about. I looked confused, and he said, is that what happens? Is that, and I thought, oh my goodness, subhanAllah. And I had told them, look, I will talk to my son about it in the best way possible. You don't need to be graphic about everything, for children to understand. And unfortunately, he did get exposed. So I wouldn't want that experience on any child. And so, like I said, the way we do it, it's we do talk about everything. We also say to the children that whatever question that they have, they can ask. We make sure that before we do any of that, we share that with our parents. So the outline of the program is shared with our parents. We invite them in for a workshop. This is in primary. Obviously, we invite them in for a workshop and talk to them about it, ask them, have they got any questions? And that, we want the parents very much on board. And it's important that it's not just outsourced to the school. I know it can be, sometimes delicate matters, and parents might not find it, the best way to share things with their parents or with their children and bring things up. But we say, look, we are going to be talking about these things, so you should know, and, have those conversations with your children. Might go home back, with questions, and parents should be ready to sort of, have that conversation. But I think a lot of parents appreciate it because it's a conversation that they find uncomfortable, and it's okay, right, at least they're learning about it, and it's done with, a lot of Islamic schools have set up previously, and are probably also setting up now. And it's, they go out with that perhaps mentality of like, we've got to raise funds and do fundraising. Unfortunately, the public don't respond to that very well. Because a lot of people do see Islamic schools as a business, and it's a profit-making, particularly independent schools, and they see somebody's making money out of it and everything else. And I will tell you that the fees that we charge are like at such a minimum when you actually think about what independent schools out there are charging. What we charge annually are probably charged by independent schools, the non-Islamic independent schools, probably termly, if that. So we are running a school with everything, all the provisions and everything at a fraction of the cost that most independent schools are actually running at. And what we say is that we won't compromise on what we offer. We'll go above and beyond to make sure that we have that in place, and everything that the child would get in other schools, we've got all of those things in place, and we do our utmost to do that. But as a charity not-for-profit organisation, any money that comes into the school, all the fees, they get fed back into the school. So it's always about looking into, okay, how can we make the school better? A vast majority of the fees that come in, it is really funding the resources that we have. And our biggest resource and asset is our staff. It's the teachers. Because, when you've got good teachers, then you've got good teaching and good education. And that's what parents want. And ultimately, that's what we should all want. Because at the end of the day, schools, like I said, I see our school as a supplementing what the tarbiyah of the children in our community. And I think we should all care about that. It shouldn't just be, I think sometimes we see it as, well, it's not my child going there, so then why do I need to necessarily fund it? I think we need to change that mentality. We need to start thinking of these children are the future of our communities. They are the future leaders. And surely if we want our community to flourish, then we need to have the right people in place. And that comes with a good education, an education that's not just about academics, but also about nurturing the whole child in terms of their tarbiyah as a Muslim, and being solid in their identity and confident, and being also, it's not just about being a source of help and support for the Muslims, but being a source of help and support for the whole of the community, whether they're living in Redbridge or whatever borough they may be living in, because what we want is proactive citizens, and they should be the good for the community, and that's really our aim. So I think we do need to, as a community, start changing that thinking, because that, I feel, is how we are going to flourish as a community. And it should be that we need to look at everybody's child should be our child. My child is going to go and befriend other children. Surely I want the best company for my child. And so if I just think about my child, then it's not going to help. And so I think, we do need to kind of change that idea. And so we've not really, for us, it's not about saying, give us money. It's more, look, we're opening up a school, inshallah. We've got the provisions in place. Bring your child here. Within our primary school, our numbers are around 15, 16 per class. So alhamdulillah, it's small, and I would say that that's probably one of our unique selling points, one of the features that we have. When we go up to secondary, it is a larger school, alhamdulillah, and we're able to sort of accommodate within each class 20 to 25 children, alhamdulillah. So for the boys and similarly for the girls as well.
Secondary school, yours, when are you planning to start?
Our aim, inshallah, is to start in September 2024. Our fees are at 4,700 per annum, inshallah. And we feel that that's, it's a reasonable amount and for what we are offering, inshallah. It's very much in line with our primary just a little bit more, but I think the provisions usually are a little bit more as well. But I think, inshallah, what we are going to offer will cover that. And I think, if you're talking about 4,700 per year, really in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. But at the same time, we appreciate that a lot of parents may be struggling. And so we say, if that is an issue and a parent does want their child to go to a secondary school, we are, inshallah, also trying to set up a bursary scholarship fund. So I would say, look, apply and talk to us in terms of your needs. And inshallah, we'll try and accommodate as much as possible. For it's trying to be open to as many people as possible with the right mindset who want that education for their children, inshallah. I would say that predominantly we'll probably have female teachers who are going to be in the girls' school and male teachers for the boys. However, having said that, I think it's also important that boys and girls see the teachers as teachers. That, girls should also know that, you can have a male teacher. It's happened in the past. It's not unusual. And similarly, there have been, great female teachers who have taught, male, men, and that's also fine. I mean, the first teacher that we have, whether a male or female, is our mothers, right? Our parents are usually the first. And it's important, I think, they see both. So, yes, predominantly, I would say it would be female teachers teaching the female and male teachers. But in all honesty, we don't want to necessarily just make that fixed, because I think it's about developing the children. And like you said, it's not about having our children in a bubble. Because at the end of the day, they are going to go out. Absolutely. They're going to go out into college. They might go into university, and it's going to be mixed. And so it's important for us to also prepare our children in that way. So, yeah, there might be times when they are. And also there might be times where we also have, where we might host events, like, for example, I don't know, it might be a debating event, a debating competition, where we might have the girls debating with the boys and so forth, So there is going to be planned, but they will be planned in terms of events going on where they may mix together. But predominantly the teaching and learning will be segregated, the girls within the girls' school and the boys within the boys' school. We see ourselves as it's another choice that a lot of parents are looking for, where they may not want to send their children to mainstream school. So it's another choice that they have, inshallah. Opening up in September 2024. So this is a good time. Alhamdulillah, we've got already a lot of children who are registered to start. And it's, inshallah, we are open at the moment for registration and admission. So please come talk to us, inshallah. If you want any more information, by all means, contact us on email at contact@apexsecondary.co.uk. Likewise, you can call us as well. Our website is also live, apexsecondary.co.uk.